Good day, this is WesternPacificWeather.com's 7th video update for Typhoon Maon. It is the 18th of July 2011, 0830 Zulu, and 4 p.m. Philippine time or 5:30 p.m. Japan time. And before I begin this update, I just want to congratulate Japan and its team for winning the Women's World Cup back in Germany today, beating the United States. Although you have to give credit for the US team for giving a valiant fight, and losing the game in penalty kicks sure is tough. As for Japan, this win will definitely be a big boost for a country that has endured so much over the past few months, and looks like facing another threat with Maon here, forecasting to make landfall in southern half of the country. Although the good news is that Maon seems to be weakening now as it approaches the Japanese mainland. So let's get to the details. There was last located 370 kilometers east of Amami. Maximum sustained winds have decreased to 155 kilometers per hour, gusting to 210. Maon is moving northward now at 25 kilometers per hour. So Maon has now weakened to a category 2 on the Saffir-Simpson scale and is forecast to retain that category 2 status just before landfall. You can see here in this IR image, you can see Maon, and seems to be that very small eye. You can still see it there east of Amami, northeast of Okinawa here, now moving northward towards Shikoku and the rest of Japanese mainland. You can see this Maon's large flow and large influence here. You can see the flow actually stretches back to the Philippines and into Mindanao, actually yesterday influencing the weather. Also there bringing some heavy rains there as well due to the general southwestward flow in the southern half of the Philippines. Now moving on to Japan, we have here the latest wind reports from JMA taken roughly half an hour ago. You can see here Okinawa and Amami. For Okinawa, actually very very quiet weather actually. Not what we have forecast 24 hours ago. Actually, just seeing 20 to 30 kph winds here. 20-30 kph there, and then here for Daitojima group of islands east southeast of Okinawa, actually still reporting 30 to 40 kilometers per hour here. Actually reported as high as 50 to 60 kilometers per hour about 6 to 12 hours ago as Maon passed east of the islands, about 300 to 400 kilometers east of Daito there now. Also here Amami reporting relatively stronger winds around 30 to 40 or actually 25 to maybe 35 kph winds from the north and northwest. So definitely still seeing those winds for the next 24 hours likely, and for Okinawa as well, although generally light winds here actually. Some great weather now, and the sun is actually peeking out according to some reports. Now as for Kagoshima, it will be a different picture here, showing around 30 to 40 kph winds from the north and northeast. And actually here we have a report of around 75 kilometer per hour wind in Miyazaki city, in the Miyazaki prefecture, facing the sea actually here. So definitely expect some strong winds from Maon. East and northeast winds there beginning to appear now on the reports. So expect that to continue to increase and the conditions to deteriorate actually. Now moving on to Shikoku Island, there's still variable and light winds as of the last report, although those areas facing the sea actually beginning to report some strong winds now. Here we have Muroto, I believe that's the city here, facing the sea, actually reporting now around 50 kph winds from the east. Also here reporting around 40 to 50 kph winds all throughout the areas, coastal areas. So expect that to definitely gonna be increasing in the next few hours. And you can also see in this general eastward flow, you can tell that Maon's center and center of circulation is definitely still south of the island there. Now moving on to the precipitation, here we are showing Amami and Okinawa to the south. You can still see some rain bands approaching out to very light and scattered showers actually approaching the islands, although you can still see some pockets of moderate rain. Okinawa just reporting some rain showers throughout the day today. Nothing much in terms of what Kyushu, Shikoku, and Honshu will face in the next 24 to 36 hours there. So yeah, Okinawa and Amami looks to be fine for now in terms of that damage from Maon there. Now for Kagoshima, you can now see the rain bands making its way from Maon. You can also see some moderate and some pockets of heavy rain approaching Miyazaki Prefecture from the east, as that rain bands continue to propagate away from the center of circulation towards the mainland Japan. And also here in Shikoku, you see lots of rains here, with the rain bands also associated with Maon here, moving from the south. You can also see actually some pockets of heavy rain here east and southeast of Osaka, near Nara and Mie prefectures, and the Honshu island here. You can actually see some sort of a thunderstorm cell here, and JMA actually showing the thunderstorm activity in this analysis image from the radar, showing very low activity, just the lowest of the activity levels, but still expect some pockets of thunderstorms and heavy rain that will generally last for maybe half an hour at most, or an hour. But as you can see from the latest image, the rain is now beginning to become more widespread in terms of coverage. Now going back to Maon itself, you can see in this infrared image that convection is beginning to wane, largely seeing green. Just like 24 hours ago, we actually saw a flare-up southern half, and you can see that has moved to the eastern periphery of the storm center. You can also see in this IR image, you can still see a very weak and irregular eye signature, and you can actually also saw that with the visible image I showed you earlier. But yeah, definitely those activity now pushing its way towards southern Shikoku and eastern Kyushu there, and this activity remaining largely to the east of the storms, as east of Maon, as what usually happens with tropical storms and typhoons in the northern hemisphere there. Now showing the 37 gigahertz image from the microwave image about 4 hours ago, the latest one from the Naval Research Lab, actually seeing still some organization in the lower levels with the eye. You can still discern that eye there. The eyewall replacement cycle is actually complete now, but definitely not seeing any sort of improvement, and actually just weaken Maon in terms of intensity as it moves north. And you can see dry air, and also here south of the center, meaning empty. Now as for the 80, this one is the 87 gigahertz, showing sort of an eye wall, small eye trying to reappear and trying to flare up, with the outer eye wall, another ring here, also remaining largely to the eastern half of the storm. So I mean, in terms of re-intensification, JDWC is still actually expecting this to intensify as much as 10 knots for the next 24 to 36 hours. I mean, looking at the trends right now, it looks unlikely, although we still have about 24 to 48 hours actually before landfall. So still has lots of ways to go, so never write off Maon just yet. I mean, we could see a flare up of activity in the next 6 hours. We don't know that, but in terms of upper levels, and sea surface temperatures still well favorable for some sort of intensification, are definitely gonna be sustaining that category 2 intensity at the least, before making landfall here in Shikoku or Honshu. Now looking at this steering layer, you can still see the STR now moving southeast of Japan, with Maon definitely moving and rounding out that STR, and definitely just staying south of the Honshu Island, just passing south of Osaka and Tokyo, and moving towards the northern Pacific Ocean. And the computer models are largely in agreement with that right now, showing landfall in eastern Shikoku here and moving towards the Pacific Ocean. And you can also see here some model support of a possible cyclone formation 3 to 5 days from now. Gonna be seeing that for the next. We'll have to monitor that for trends for the next few days. I mean, still have very small model support, but you never know with the Western Pacific. Now this is the UK metal model, also showing that the general track right now. And here is ECMWF, or the Euro model, also expecting this to landfall in Shikoku. And this is their 48. The Euro is actually the fastest one in terms of landfall, just for 24 hours. And by 48 hours, or Wednesday Japan time, it is now south of Osaka. It is actually going to be slowing down after landfall as it rounds that STR curve and begins to turn to the east. And you can see, according to the Euro, by Thursday morning it will be well south of Tokyo, but still gonna be bringing in some around tropical storm winds to the metropolitan area there. And as for the forecast from weather agencies, we have here JMA still showing that sharp turn to the east and eventual turn to the north, remaining south of Tokyo here, well south actually, showing Thursday morning. And also still gonna be brushing Shikoku definitely, and Honshu south of Osaka here. JDWC here also showing that eastward turn, and making landfall just south of Kyoto and Osaka by Wednesday morning, and by Thursday it will be well south and southeast of Tokyo and the Kanto Plain, weakening to a tropical storm. And you can see in this JDWC image, they are keeping this as a typhoon throughout its movement over southern Honshu, probably weakened to a tropical storm once it reaches Thursday morning south of Tokyo. And here is our forecast, largely in agreement, although actually much more north in terms of the other agencies there, showing that by tomorrow morning it will be east of Kagoshima, and by Wednesday it will be making landfall south of Osaka in Wakayama, I believe is the place there, south of Osaka, and by Thursday morning it should pass within south of Tokyo metropolitan area, remaining largely as a weak category 1 typhoon there. Definitely gonna be weakening now as it encounters that topography of southern Japan. In terms of wind shear, the shear is not going to strengthen that much, so expect some gradual weakening, and at the rapid weakening that we've seen in terms of cyclones hitting the northern latitudes, including Japan here. Yes, as by Friday, we expect this to weaken to a tropical storm, beginning its extratropical cyclone by as early as Friday into Saturday, as it moves across towards the northern Pacific Ocean. In terms of effects, here we have the map from wikitravel.org, and I'm gonna just show what I think is the areas that will experience typhoon force winds. Showing just south of Osaka, Nara, Kobe, Nagoya, and south of Tokyo. I mentioned earlier that the strongest of winds remain generally east and southeast of the storm. Now in terms of tropical storm force winds, definitely this whole area will probably still see some tropical storm winds, and the the overall wind pattern for Maui actually looks still respectable right now. That is the update for